Yeah, okay, time to live free. Plenty goals I'm achieving. Some real life topics and talking financial freedom. Mindset, soul and love, everything in between. This is Freedom Podcast. Tune in, live free. Hey, got my mindset right and I got the drive. Planning one day, no more job, no more 9 to 5. Love money, mine. Love money, mine. This is freedom. Tune in, cause it's going down. Woo!
Hi, this is Anna and welcome to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. In this episode, I interview Manohar Grandhi. Manohar is from India and in 2019, he struggled with insomnia and was living in a desperation to sleep. He had loads of consultations with psychologists that helped him to a certain extent, but because he was so desperate to fix the problem, he was put on anti-anxiety pills. He struggled and he was researching in this struggle and found about the practice of meditation. And meditation has really changed his life. He is an author of a book called My Sleepless Night, and I know you're going to find this interview really inspiring. So Manohar, it's great to have you on the show. I know you're the other side of the world from me here in the UK. I know you're based in India, but it's really great to have you on the show and share your story.
Yeah, so I'm also really delighted to be a part of your podcast, Anna, and I am really thankful for giving me the opportunity to share my story.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I know you went through a bit of a difficult time.
Yes.
So I'm going to get you to open up because I know you've also written this book. And we're going to be talking about meditation, which we've spoken about quite a bit on this podcast. So it's great to have you on. I just wanted to know, like, how did all this start? What happened?
Okay. So back in 2019 time frame, what happened was I was going through my personal issues and also professional issues and all those things. And what happened was before going to sleep, because I wanted to get my mind off the things in my mind, things that are there of the day, I started reading books. So that actually turned into an obsession. So generally, if you see, the most of the people suggest, like, before going to sleep, read a physical book kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I started reading. I started reading self-help books. So different kinds of things. And what happened was, if I didn't complete the book, and let's say that I'm only done 30% or 40% of the book, I couldn't go to sleep. My mind was always thinking on what next.
Yeah,
And I kept thinking on that. And what happened was, instead of rolling and tossing on the bed, I just got up and finished the book, and then I went to sleep. And one day, coincidentally, what happened was I was watching a TED talk where basically the narrator premise is saying that out of all the species that exists on this planet Earth, only humans change the thing with sleep. So basically, every species respects the time. So basically, for example, birds. They, once it's not like you are sitting in broad daylight. So once it's evening and the sun has set, so they just go and return back to their nests and then have a proper relaxing time.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, like in the past 200 years, with the advent of in electricity, and last 2 decades with the internet boom, we literally have anything we can do without any hesitation. So we just have now, with the press of a button, or now you can now with AI integrated, you need not even press the button. You can just say that I want this. And then automatically these things start playing. So
I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think that nowadays in this digital world, we're so easily contactable as well.
Yes.
Like, you know, we've got read receipts on WhatsApp messages. People can see that we've read it, so there's that urgency to reply. And it's like, it's hard to switch off. I know that a lot of people here, the first thing they do in the morning is look at the phone.
Yeah.
You know, so,
yeah, that's absolutely right. And like, I was actually watching a talk also where basically, if you just go 2 decades prior, when the television was there, just to watch the next episode, you had to wait for another week. So assuming that it's a weekly episode, now that that thing is not even there. So
Yeah,
you can keep watching,
access to it. Yeah, you can just keep watching it until
yeah,
you finish.
until the season is done or something like that. So
Yeah,
that has actually the way this has actually disrupted our brains. And the premise the author says is cutting down on sleep is a big no-no, because sleep does a lot of things. So and not only for our body, even for our mind, it does a lot of things, like removing the memories that are really not necessary. It prunes the connections that are not necessary and consolidate our memory, a lot of things. So what I found was I found that I'm really consciously cutting down on sleep, and that actually increased my anxiety. So I
yeah,
just
yeah. It's like a
desperately.
vicious circle, because I know I went through a really difficult time in 2015. I left my abusive, toxic marriage, and then I had 5 years of court hearings. This is why I've set up this podcast, because I think sometimes when you are in a difficult place, looking online all the time, you see all these perfect worlds, and it's false, you know. So it's important to have like a forum where we discuss different challenges and life challenges I've gone through. And sleep was a big one for me. My subconscious was working overtime, and I had to come up with a plan to kind of interject it to help me get some sleep. So I can really relate to everything that you're saying, because
Yeah.
our mind is powerful. We think, oh yeah, we're fine, but there's a subconscious that keeps us awake, and yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Basically,
It's
I'm
yeah.
sure a lot of people listening to this at some point, if they've gone through challenging time or had anxiety, because it's that cycle, isn't it? Of like, if you can't sleep, it makes the anxiety worse, and
Yes.
you need the sleep for the anxiety. It's just like
Mm,
a wheel that you go around. So I'm sure
yes.
everyone can relate to this that's
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was going through. The anxiety of not sleeping was feeding insomnia, and the insomnia was it in return feeding the anxiety. So it was a vicious
Yeah,
circle,
exactly.
and it was becoming difficult day by day. So I was actually losing hair. I had digestion issues, and I was feeling very low on energy, kind of thing. And the scariest moment for me was like actually I was on the wheel, driving on a freeway, and I don't remember a certain minutes of the freeway, and I had a micro sleep. So while I was on the wheel, and that actually had my heart in my mouth. So and then, like you told, whenever you see online, everyone talks about a hack which can put you to sleep in 30 seconds, less than 1 minute. So I've started going through those YouTube videos, and then started trying myself, so desperate that this is not working. And this was the state where I was in. And what exactly happened was like I also was visiting a psychologist who helped me actually understand the wrong things with my thought process, like how I was thinking, and what is the that I was living in, basically a FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it is that, isn't it? And I think that's
yeah,
what a lot of people be able to relate to.
yeah.
You were wanting to finish it. You
Yeah.
can't-
So I was living on FOMO, and what he suggested me was to just sit and meditate, no matter the time of the day. So in don't do anything other than just sit and meditate. So what I did was I just started closing my eyes and concentrated on the breath and all those things. Yeah, but still my mind was all over the place doing all
That's what I was
these
going to
things.
ask you, because I think when I first started doing meditation, that's what I was like. It was all these thoughts. Like, for
Yes.
people that are new to meditation, is there any tips that you'd share to
Yeah,
help
sure.
them?
Yeah, so it was like all over the place thinking, and like I was like thinking that this is not my cup of tea, and nothing is solving. But then actually when I also read about meditation, what I understood is like for the mind to actually settle, it takes some time. So it's not going to be an instant thing, like
Yeah.
the mind gets settled immediately. And in fact, like I have been meditating since 2019, so it's almost like 4 years. And even now, I do have some few days where my mind is constantly all over the place, thinking of lot of things. But then the thing is, with every meditation, what happens is, like I was reading a beautiful story about Buddha, who explained like what exactly happens when meditation happens.
Mm.
So what happens was, a disciple goes and asks Buddha, like, what, can you explain me what meditation is? So Buddha says, like, go to the river and get me some water. So the disciple sees that the water is muddy because the water is flowing very fast. So he comes back to Buddha and says that I can't get you water to drink because the water is muddy. So Buddha says, like, get it in a jug and then just leave it aside for some time. So what he notices is the dust which is on the top completely goes and settles in the bottom, and the water becomes clearer on the top. So, and then he says that this is exactly what happens when you meditate. So the mind with its agitated state is like the dust. And when you give it some time, automatically the dust settles to the bottom. So
Yeah.
this is what exactly happens when you meditate. Initially, all your mind is all over the place, thinking about yesterday, thinking about the next day, and what is going wrong, what is going, all these things. And but once you give it time and you persist with this practice, the dust settles to the bottom, then you will be able to see that the mind has cleared itself. So
Yeah.
that is my suggestion to people who have really starting out on meditation. Give it some time. So I would even suggest, like if you see the habits that they are suggested, like they say, like 21 days is the minimum for which a new habit to form. I would even go ahead and say, like, if you give 90 days as the time, and I would definitely say that you will definitely see a lot of
It's like getting
difference in
into
your thought
that
process.
routine, isn't it? It's like the habit of
Yes,
consistently doing it, and you get better
yes,
and better at it. Yeah. It definitely works because if I have moments where I've not meditated for a while, sometimes I revert back to, that mind again, but it's just consistency and getting it into like a behavior routine that really works. So that's
yes, absolutely.
that's really good. I mean, it really fits into a lot of the stuff that I talk about, because I talk about my 3 pillars that have helped me get equilibrium in my life. And one of them is freedom in love, which is around self-care, self-love, and that sort of comes
Yes.
into that meditation. And the other one is financial freedom, because it's not about, making 6 figures in 10 days, but it's
Mhm.
about, having a stabilized income so that you can do certain things in your lifestyle and not have the worry about finances. And then freedom in mind, again, comes into meditation and everything else. And again, that's not about being positive all the time. It's just, equipping yourself to, if something happens, being able to break it down and get through that difficult time, really, rather than panic. Um,
Yes,
so I'm sure you can relate to those pillars.
yes,
With probably your journey and getting all the meditation stuff. So thanks for kind of like, I like that analogy about the dust and the water, because it's true. It's the more you do it, the more it will settle, or the longer that you do it for. I remember having like a massage not long ago, and I was so busy when I went into the room and I was like, this is only a 30-minute massage. I felt like 15, 20 minutes in, I was still, all my brain was like that. And I just started to settle as it finished.
yes,
But it did get there though. So sometimes you've got a really busy mind, that can happen. It's a natural thing to happen. And in my head, I'm just like, shoo, 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 shoo away, shoo away.
yes.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. It's really good for our listeners to listen to how that helped you. So I presume you then got into a daily meditation, did you, to help you sleep?
Yes. Yeah. So what I used to do is I used to regularly meditate. So I was listening to guided meditations only. So you will find a lot of them, which is like ranging even from 5 minutes. There are even guided meditations for 2 minutes, 1 minute also. But I just started with just 5 minutes of meditation. Initially started just once a day, but then slowly increase the frequency, like 5-minute meditations twice a day, kind of a thing. And slowly, with like I talked about this 90 days, right? I increased my duration. So from 5 minutes to 8 minutes, 8 minutes to 10 minutes, 10 to 12. And I regularly meditate practice that before going to bed, I just listen to the 30 minute of guided meditation. But the thing is, Anna, like the curve is the recovery is not never a linear one, expecting that you'll go like that. So
Exactly.
it's always a non-linear one, and it takes time and persistence. Once you persist with these things, then actually, like I keep hearing many people say, like sleeping well is also a learnable skill which you can do it with time. So once you break that, like you talked about initially, that vicious circle, and you relax yourself better and better, then your sleep gets better.
I also have like this bedtime routine now. I started
Yeah.
thinking, you know, people advised me, and I thought, this is what exactly I did with my children. You know what I mean? To wind down them. So I've got to do it to myself. So I have like a long bath where I sometimes play meditation music. Recently, I've noticed creeping back in is I end up listening to a podcast, a business podcast, and I'm like, no, I should be relaxing. I should be doing some meditation. But that really does help as well, like in the process, you know, like getting lavender oil and different oils, just to, it's just the whole environment of it, of like starting to wind down from this digital world that we're in. So even though my life is not how it was 5 years ago, it's still nice to put those habits in, because again, you just get into the habit of doing it. And I feel like if I have to have a shower before I go to bed, I feel like I've cheated myself. You know, like if I've had like a really busy day and I think, oh, I haven't got time for a bath, I feel like I've missed out. So you kind of get into these habits where you then think you've always done it, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think a lot of it is to do with that habit, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So, so there's a very famous book called Atomic Habits. So you might have also heard about this. So that exactly talks about this thing only, which is to create this small, tiny habits, which actually compound over a period of time, and you start getting better and better. So initially the results are very small and you feel like giving up, but then once you persist with these habits, it's a compounding, and that the benefits are like very huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, brilliant. So tell us about the book that because I know you've written a book, haven't you?
Yeah. So my book is called My Sleepless Nights, a story of victory over insomnia. So basically, in the book, actually, I described about my journey, like basically how I planted the seed of worry with insomnia and how I nurtured it and how it became a very big tree and it bothered me a lot. My conversations with my psychologist and how I started the practice of meditation. And the biggest thing is, like when you do this practice of meditation, Anna, the biggest thing I found was I was able to live in the present moment. So basically, when prior to that, I always was worried that will I sleep tonight? Will I not sleep tonight? What will happen to my future? What will happen? Will I get some disease and all those things? But then I was able to focus on living in the present moment right now, and then being in a state where I detach myself from the anxiety of the future and the guilt or the shame of the past. So when I was able to live in the present moment is when biggest change happened. So that is what actually I described in that book.
Yeah, brilliant. That sounds really good. And is it available on Amazon?
Yeah, so it's available both as a paperback and an ebook on Amazon.
Okay, brilliant. I've got a few books now because I help people create their books on Amazon. So I'm all for selling the books on Amazon. Okay. It works on a print on demand model. So what we can do for anyone who is listening to this and thinking, wow, I'd really like to get my hands on a copy of this book, and maybe you're going through like sleeping problems and can really relate to Manohar's story, then you want to go and grab this book. And as I say, it's on Kindle or paperback. What we will do, if you're watching us on YouTube, hello, we'll put the links in the comment section for your book. And also, if you're listening to us on any of the podcast channels, it'll be in the show notes, so you can go directly to it and go and grab a copy. And also, you'll be supporting Manohar as well, getting their book and his story out there. So thank you in advance for those of you that go and grab that. So it's been great listening to your story. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with the listeners?
Yeah, that my only thing which I feel to be shared is, we live in an age where, like with this mobile, we have so much of instant gratification. So there is another concept also called as delayed gratification, and there was a beautiful experiment called as a Marshmallow Experiment that was conducted, I believe, in the 1970s. So what they observed was, so they just took some kids, very small kids, like in the age of 6 to 7, and then they took them to an observation room, and then they gave each of them a marshmallow, and then they told them that if you just stay in this room and don't open the marshmallow, don't eat it, and we come back after 15 minutes or so, and then we'll give you another marshmallow. But then what they observed was, like a few kids could not control the temptation of marshmallow, and then they immediately opened it and ate it. But then few kids were able to resist the temptation and delay the gratification. And the story actually ends over there, the experiment ends over there. But then what they really observed was 20-25 years pass. The kids who were able to delay the gratification were way successful in their marriages, way successful in their jobs, way successful in whatever field they were able to do. So I know, like, we live in an era where so much of instant gratification, like Anna was talking about, that we have the ticks also on WhatsApp and all those things. Yeah. So
I've turned mine off now, because I'm like, I hate this pressure of having to reply. Get so many different messages, and I just feel like it makes us more pressured, to live this thing. And people are like, "Oh, you've read my message and you're not replying to me." I thought, no, I want to go back to what I want to do, my rules.
Yes, absolutely. So
try not to just check social media all the time. Like, I have certain times of the day where I do it, because otherwise it's constant, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So live. You have to learn to delay your gratification. So once you're able to delay your gratification, you will have a healthier. You'll be able to sleep better. Is what I would like to end this thing.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. You've shared some really awesome tips to everybody. So anybody that's kind of like suffer with anxiety, or sleep problems, or just kind of wanting to get in better habits from living in this digital world that we're now in, I think you've really shared some really good points. So let's all support Manohar and go and grab a copy of his book. I also always ask everybody the same question for everybody I interview. And it's because it's called the Freedom Podcast, and there's no right or wrong answer to this, but it's nice to hear different people's views or descriptions of it. So what does freedom mean to you?
Okay, so freedom for me means like, when you are having these obsessive thoughts, or you might have heard the story of the elephant which is tied to a small rope. So there's a very beautiful story which I read. So what happens is, when a person goes to a circus and notices that there's a very small rope that is tied to an elephant's leg, the elephant doesn't even try to escape. So the person goes to the ringmaster and circus master and asks, why is that the elephant, such a huge animal, not even trying to escape? So then the circus master says that the elephant, when we captured it, it was a baby, and we used to tie iron ropes to its leg, and it tried pulling hard, and it understood that no matter how hard it pulls, it can't break that shackles. So the elephant lives with that conditioned belief that whatever is tied to its leg is very strong enough. So that is the limiting belief. So freedom to me is, even though you have your limiting belief, breaking your limiting belief is freedom for me.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's really good. You've got some brilliant stories and analogies. I've really enjoyed listening to you. So thank you ever so much for coming to share all the good stuff with what you went through and getting through insomnia and coming out the other side and getting these habits in place and sharing some tips with all the listeners. We really appreciate it. If someone wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way? Are you on Facebook and Instagram, or what is the best way to contact you?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook. I'm basically on all social media.
We'll put all the links into all your social profiles in the show notes or in the comments section, so anyone can just go straight there and reach out to you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So you can also visit my website called manohargrandhi.com. So there, actually, I have a free video where I talk about how you can break with insomnia. So how you can get instant relief from insomnia. Yeah.
Great. So everybody get over to his website, and then you can grab a copy of the video. We'll put the link for everything that Manohar's mentioned, with the links to social platforms and a copy of his book. You're really inspiring. It's great to have you on, and I really appreciate you sharing everything you have with us today.
Thank you, Anna, for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to voice my story.
Yeah, thank you ever so much. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and subscribe on my YouTube channel. And if you want to get more freedom in your life, then come and join Your Freedom Project Facebook group, which the link is below in the comments section. And I am giving you a copy of my visualization manifesting book. So manifest more freedom in your life and live the life of your dreams.
Hey, thank you for listening. Hope you had a blast. Here to elevate your life. It's the Freedom Podcast. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. Wanna see you all win. Wanna see you all shine. Just make sure that you subscribe. Bringing good vibes. Join the Facebook group. Now it's time to change your life. Hope you come back. Right now is the chance. This is an experience. It's the Freedom Podcast. Hey.